Get ready to head north with the power trip. Join the guys up at Grandview Lodge April 30th and May 1st. Be there on Thursday night for off-air fun and games for great prizes. Then stick around as we go live on the air Friday morning, including the Initials game and your shot at a 2-night Grandview stay with food, golf, and a massage at their spa. Get all the details today at KFAN.com/Grandview.
Oh, you must have left something out. I'm there, too. Is that not?
It's not written in there.
Oh, well, because I'll be there. I'll be there playing golf, hit knockdown, punch, cut, fades, draws. You'll be see me traipsing around the fairways, and then I'll be with you that Saturday night for the tailgate party. I hang out with all the people afterwards, and then I'm also going to do tee to green there. So I will be there too, just in case you were wondering. That's what I affectionately call my camp. Richard, that's next weekend. We look forward to seeing you all. Time now for 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions.
Who's it brought to us by?
Actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Brought to you by Willow River Company.
Well done.
Question number 1.
We're gonna win, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Yeah, Twins lost 3-2 to the Mets last night in New York. Something called Connor Prelip got the start. He gave up just 2 runs in 4 innings, but bullpen couldn't hold on in the 8th inning with the game tied 2-2 as Taylor Rogers and Justin Topa gave up a pair of 2-out walks. And then Mark Vientos hit a bloop single to bring across the eventual game-winning run. Offensively, at least, Byron Buxton hit another homer for your Twins. Common, what sticks out to you from last night's Twins L?
We missed Mark Rosen, so I'll do a Mark Rosen response to that. Well, we're 12-12 now. We're 500, and now we're going to finish up with the Mets, and then we're going to get on the road. We're going to travel. We're going to play Kansas City. Got a couple of tough games with them. And my favorite player on that team, of course, Bobby Witt. So that'll be fun. And, Buck Truck, just continues to hit with some power. I think he had 1 home run. I think it was 1 RBI. And, not a bad game for, then Rosen would see that it says VCARA and the rest of the name isn't there. And then he would panic. He would I just call him Karatina. And I'd say, that's not his name. He goes, well, that's the way I pronounce it. I don't know what to make.
And then you would follow him up, basically going, yeah, Twins kind of sputtering here, 12-12. Yeah, but the Tigers aren't doing that well this season,
yeah, right.
and the Mets' big money team, they're struggling.
Yeah, and then he would also go with the
struggling in Philadelphia.
And he goes, and then he would say, once the weather heats up, so will the bats. I don't know what to make. It's remember the show One Day at a Time? It's Major League Baseball's one game at a time, I guess. And so, they've been kind of streaky. They were 3-6 to start the season. Then they went on that real nice winning streak. I think they won like 6, 7 in a row and like 8 of 9 or 9 of 10. And then they got swept by Cincinnati. They did beat the Mets the first game, lost the second. They play again this evening, actually. So kind of at 12-12, I'll be honest with you, tend to be, and I'm not giving them, this is not moral victories because I just don't care enough about, I just don't think, I think it's fair to say, and I think most people would agree, this team, other than maybe Tom Pohlad, the team's not going to contend. If the division stays weak, if the Tigers underachieve, I suppose they could hang around, but I don't, if you would have told me through 24 games they'll be 12-12, I would have said I also have some oceanfront property in Arizona, and you can see the front porch. From my front porch, you can see the sea. But so 12-12, I'm actually surprised they're 500 right now, but it's too much inconsistency with the lineup, with the bullpen, with the starting pitching, and with Lopez out. It just doesn't spell much. But hey, you know what? They'll go back at it again tonight against the Metropolitans.
Question number 2. Programming predicament.
Yeah, you're right. The Twins continue their series with the New York Mets tonight. That's at 6 p.m. on Twins.tv. The Timberwolves host the Denver Nuggets in Game 3 tonight at 8:30 p.m. That's at Target Center. And, of course, you can hear that game right here on the Fan or on the iHeartRadio app. You can hear it on the Fan after the NFL Draft, where the Vikings take pick number 18. That starts at 7 p.m. right here on the Fan. Common, what are you going to do about tonight's
Programming predicament.
No, I was going to whistle.
Oh.
Starring Andy Griffith. Do, 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 do. Don Knotts. Do, 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 do. What was Aunt B's real name? Francis. And Ron Howard as the Opie. You know what I'll do? I'll watch actually a little of all three. I'll do some, what do they call it, channel surfing? I think I told you I don't care who Tampa Bay takes. I don't care who the Jets take. I don't care who the Giants. It doesn't interest me in any way, shape, or form. I have mild interest in Packers Bears, but my main interest in the draft are the Vikings and the Lions, and they go back to back 17-18. So if you're wondering where I will be when the Vikings and the Lions select back to back, I'll be locked in on the draft. Otherwise, I think I'll watch some Wolves and some Wild, and I'll probably do. I forgot to do Wordle last night. Yeah, so I'll probably do some Wordle and just kind of lay back and wait to come in tomorrow. So.
Question number 3. It's time now for Common to fill in the blank.
Okay.
All right, Common. The Vikings will select blank tonight at pick 18.
Really bad player. That won't pan out. Oh, you know what? This is going to change this year. KOC and Brzezinski and B-Flow got it all figured out. I think, I don't have a name for you, but I think it'll be a defensive back. It will be a safety or a cornerback. I can't give you a name.
That's pretty safe.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, because you said they will select. That's what I think they will. And that's all fine and good with me. Just hope whatever safety or defensive back they select, if they do, let's hope he ends up being a blue chipper. Because when you're anybody that's drafted in the first round, you are occasionally going to have a guy that doesn't make it. But you should be trying to get a blue chipper in the first round, right? I mean, that's just, if you have that, if even at 18, that means 17 guys are gone. You got the pick of the litter after that. There should be 18 really good players that can have long, productive careers, impact players in the NFL. So let's hope they select the right guy.
Well, as I've mentioned, basically 75% of all NFL mock drafts having the Vikings taking safety Dylan Thieneman.
Yes.
Out of Oregon. Today on the Power Trip mock draft, I did not listen to it, but I did hear that PA, who always picks for the Vikings, did take Dylan Thieneman. Yeah. Now, when I was listening to his show, he said he thinks the Vikings could take Thieneman, but there's also a wild card out there that he won't reveal until the Vikings draft show tonight.
Well, you know what? I've got a wild card.
There's a wild card out there.
I have a wild card out there, and I'm not going to reveal it at all. So there you go.
But I would also say, if there's anyone behind the Vikings who really like Dylan Thieneman, at this point, they've been mocked so much of him, aren't they just going to leapfrog the purple and trade up right in front of the purple?
Or swap with the purple. But yeah, there's a better chance if you think they're selecting him, that's what you would do.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually, 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Do I think the Wild will be making tee times early or late this year? The early worm gets the birdie. You know what? Here's what I'll tell you. We're going to rebound and win game 2. It's going to game 4. It's going to be 2 games to 2. Hey, give us a call if you'd like to participate in mocking the mock draft.
Yeah, call now.
Call right now, 1-800-320-5326. Get on the list. I don't know how many.
We only got 14 spots so far, so we still have 18 to go.
We have 18, so between now and 2 o'clock, we need a call from you if you'd like to participate. If you want to do it seriously, you can, but we'd rather you do make it kind of wacky and funny.
I can't believe Warren from St. Paul hasn't called yet.
Yeah, maybe he's bitter because I think he called about a week ago, and I think he was on hold for 90 minutes and never got to his call.
Right.
I got distracted. That'll happen sometimes. Eating lunch, as you know. We'll pause, we'll come back, but call us if you'd like to participate in the mock draft. That's at 2 o'clock today. 1-800-320-5326. Short break. Come back with more. Tenneby's got a keyword here on the Common Man.
Yes, the fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword win at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That keyword is win. Enter now at KFAN.com. Want to be at the next Big Gamer concert? Well, we're giving away tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival, Santana, Guns N' Roses, Chris Stapleton, and plenty more. Enter today at KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
Your Minnesota Wild taking on the chin last night. Double OT loss to... Then it's even worse. It's because you lose to the Dallas Stars, the franchise that used to be ours. Lose to the Stars in double OT. All sorts of quotes in this Joe Smith story from The Athletic. Joe asks a question. Is there frustration building? Boldy says, absolutely none. No frustration. We had our chances. We had our looks. When they come, they come. No frustration there. Went on to say, we're still confident in our group. That was a heck of a hockey game. Back and forth, lots of chances, goals, saves, invest, spend, flaunt, everything. It's a long series. We were up 2-1 last year, too. This whole narrative that we're frustrated at all this, that's not true. We're still confident in our group. Let's nip that in the bud now because it's made up. I'm not, I'm not here to say that that's not how the group feels. I'm not in that locker room. None of us are. I think one person speaking for an entire group can be a little, I think there's a lot of assumptions being made, I think. Because you'd have to ask each individual player, and I bet every one of them to a man would say, "Oh no, we're not frustrated. We don't have any. There's no negativity building in this locker room." But if you're able to say, "Hey, it's a level with me. What do you think?" There could be some there was another quote in here. I think it was from the head coach, John Hines. See if I can find that again. I thought he said something to the effect of, here it is. Stars 4-3 victory was another thrilling instant classic in a matchup of Western Conference heavyweights. And it could very well swing the best of 7 series. Dallas's lead is now 2-1, but feels like more, doesn't it? That's what Joe Smith writes. As much as Coach Hines would tell his team it's the same whether you win 6-1 or lose in triple overtime, it's just one game. This one felt much harder to stomach. And I do think there is a difference. You're right. You could get, you kill Dallas 6-1 and you lose a double OT heartbreaker, which Kaprizov hit the post, right, in OT. Was that the first OT or the second OT? He hit the post. I mean, that's inches away, and you hear that. Well, it was inches away. Well, yeah, but my guess is Dallas was inches away on a couple of other opportunities as well.
Well, Dallas had one in overtime where it was like a pass to Faxa right on the back door, and he had a wide open net, and he redirected it between the net and Volstead, like back against the crane. Like should have been an easy tap in for the win. Right.
So those things will happen. Volstead said, I think right after, because he says it felt like it was so close. It felt like we were right there, and I guess they were. Boldy played really well last night, right? I mean, that was a hell of a game he played. He can flat out play. I don't think there's anybody that would deny that. If there were.
He missed a good chunk of the first period because he got cross-checked in the back of the head by Jamie Benn.
Yep.
And then basically, I'm sure he just had to go back for concussion protocol and came back, and you could tell he was definitely motivated. Now, that being said, he had a chance to bury the Stars. Was that in the third period when we were up a goal? And him and Eriksson Ek came down on a 2-on-1. Eriksson Ek shot it. Rebound was just there into a wide open net, and I think it was partially a good play by Duchesne to just screw up Boldy just enough to not be able to throw it into the empty net.
Marcus Foligno said after Game 2, the Stars, quote, can't hang with the Wild at 5-on-5, offering some unnecessary bulletin board material, especially when the alternate captain hasn't been a real factor in the series so far. I like the way Smith words that. He's not afraid to pull a punch there, speaking of dropping the gloves. You know, Foligno hasn't really done much of anything, yet he's talking about hang. But he can, you know, that's his opinion. That's fine, too. Then Minnesota went out and got beaten by special teams. It gave up 3 power play goals, including the winner. And the power play fizzled when it was needed the most. So they scored 3 power play goals. Do we not have a good penalty kill? Is it rank in the top third of the league, middle third, bottom third? Do you know? Do we have any indication whatsoever?
It's been better, and a lot of the moves they made before the trade deadline was with the penalty kill in mind. McCarron and Nick Foligno are basically 2 of your top forwards you throw out on the penalty kill now. Well, trying to remember if the tying goal that Duchesne scored on the power play, that was just Spurgeon had the puck and tried to make a tiny little pass to a teammate, and it turned over and they go the other way. Their puck management was really bad last night in their own zone, just trying to break out.
I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
On the penalty kill, you want your best defenders, right? Is that how it works?
Sure,
Is that what you're looking for? And usually your best defenders, I would think, would be defensive players, because that's why they're called defense.
Yeah.
We have a player on our team who Pat Micheletti said is a top 5 player in the history of the league. I know this is sacrilegious to say this in this town because he is a wonderful talent, particularly offensively. You described it beautifully about how he can do so many different things. He can stop on a dime. He sees this, sees that, scores, great passer, all that. Why isn't he a good defender? Is it because he doesn't have those skills? He exerts so much energy on the offensive end that he doesn't have, because that's what they say like about Ant. Ant he worked so hard offensively to get open and get the ball to people and et cetera, that he doesn't have sometimes the energy to play defense. Or is it no interest in playing defense? Why isn't he if he's so good offensively and he's one of the best, he's one of the top 2 defensive players in the league, why is he lousy at defense then? And why? Well,
specifically on the penalty kill, there are different traits your defensemen are going to be doing killing penalties more often than you would 5-on-5.
Okay.
Right. Killing penalties, you're going to have to do a lot more clearing out in front of your net, getting in shooting lanes, blocking shots. Right. Like what makes Quinn Hughes great is you get the puck on a stick, he can break it out of your zone, but he's great in the neutral zone, but killing penalties, you're not typically using that aspect of your game. He's phenomenal with the puck on a stick. In killing penalties, you really don't ever too often have the puck on your stick. And it's also like one of his greatest assets is skating. Well, you're not doing as much skating, killing penalties. You're more kind of, I don't want to say stationary, but
right.
So, his size would not be the best for clearing players out in front of your own net. He doesn't have the reach or the length to be getting his stick on pucks as much as some others. So that's why you don't put him on the penalty kill.
Okay. I just wished we could, because if you're one of the top 2 defenders in hockey, I just think penalty kill should be a special.
I would say he's more of a defenseman than a defender.
Okay.
But
all right. Very good.
He's an elite defenseman because of his offensive abilities.
Jason Robertson has had a pretty good series for Dallas.
It's been great. Another big goal last night.
1 goal, 2 assists, first 3 games, scored a goal and added 2 power plays in that 4-3 win last night. Do you think he might have a little bit of extra motivation? Didn't Billy Guerin pass on him for the Olympic team? Could it be coming back to haunt us?
I don't think. I think the Stanley Cup is motivation enough. I don't know.
No, but there, people. I agree with you, but sometimes people do. Just like, we just go right at their defenders because none of their guys can defend. Murray can't defend. Hardaway can't defend. They're all terrible defenders. It still is bulletin board material. And sometimes, being named to the Olympic team is still pretty cool, though, right? It's a pretty big honor, and everybody would like a chance to skate for their country. Everybody tells me how important it was. Greatest game we ever saw. Best sporting event in the last 15 or 20 years because it was Canada against the United States and went into overtime. So you want to be a part of that. Robertson didn't get that opportunity. Now, I'm not suggesting Guerin should have looked in the future and said, we might face Dallas. I don't want Robertson to have extra motivation against us, so I better select him. But he did bypass him, and maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe Robertson wouldn't say anything publicly, but maybe it's like, didn't think I could play on the Olympic team, did you?
And Bill Guerin saying, we won gold. So apparently I made the right decisions.
Right. Well, but this is the Stanley Cup, not the gold medal, so maybe he made the wrong decision. Maybe Bill Guerin. I'm about to say I think Bill Guerin made the wrong decision by not.
They won gold and he made the wrong decision.
Yeah, well, because, like you just said, I think playing for the cup is motivation enough, and I would say, that's what that means. Sounds like the cup's more important than the gold medal, so Billy Guerin should have put the cup in front of the gold medal. That's all I'm trying to come back at you with. You can't box me in. Even if my takes are, should we say preposterous or ludicrous? But I think I liked it. We'll break. We'll come back. Another half hour to go. I think Tenneby's about to do wild today. However,
line them up.
As soon as he's done, how many more people do we need?
We still have a decent amount to go. So
maybe we're gonna have to do we just have to bail on the mocking the mock draft this year?
We have 12 more to go.
Maybe
a lot of it's just it's time consuming to get them all written up. So, and I just don't have as much. I might have to go into next segment a little bit. Yeah, well, we'd sure like to have a couple 13, 14 more people to participate in the mock draft at 30 minutes away.
Yeah, otherwise
the countdown is on until our mock draft.
Otherwise, we can just bag it. We can.
We have enough.
We can spin wheel a topic.
We technically don't have to have all of them.
Yeah, that's true too. But we could spin wheel a topic, just see what comes up. I don't know.
Well, now everyone's going to call in.
Well, let's hope they do. But remember, we could spin the wheel of topic. Just keep that in mind. That's always an option. Tenneby, what you got for us?
Yeah, this Wild Today brought to you by Chanhassen Dinner Theater. The Wild and Stars went into double overtime last night at Grand Casino Arena, but unfortunately, Wild fans left disappointed.
Robertson with it. Has passed to Heiskanen. High slot center point. A shot. They score. It's tipped in front. Volstad got a chunk of it. And the Stars win the Marathon game number 3. 4-3 in double overtime. And they've got a 2-1 best-of-7 series lead.
Yeah, the Wild lose 4-3 in double overtime last night to the Stars. They trail that series 2-1, though Matt Boldy says they're not frustrated.
Yeah, we're so confident in our group. That was a heck of a hockey game. Back and forth, a lot of chances, goals, saves, everything. So, we're confident in our group. It is what it is. It's a long series. We were up 2-1 last year too. So it's this whole narrative that we're frustrated and all this. That's not true. We're so confident in our group, and let's nip that in the butt now because it's made up.
Yeah, the Wild will get a couple days off. Game 4 will be Saturday at 4:30 p.m. at Grand Casino Arena. That was Wild Today, brought to you by Chanhassen Dinner Theater.
Vibes. I got one for you. Power Trip Morning Show will be at Grandview Lodge next Thursday and Friday. Common Man will also be there too. You can do the live initials game Thursday night, and then they'll do their from 5:30 until 9. They'll play initials game during the Friday show as well. Sauce, Cove, hockey, and many other characters. A cast of characters will all be there for that. Hope to see you there.
Well, here's my vibe.
Oh.
You already listen. Now watch the fan. Check out the KFAN YouTube channel for exclusive videos, in-depth takes, initials, and password games, and behind-the-scenes content. Search KFAN on YouTube and hit subscribe today.
Ooh, behind-the-scenes content. Well, if we could only get a look behind the curtain at the fan, they're so special. They're so weird.
We're a little light on callers, so
they're very
either A, they can call in during the segment when we can't just do it the commercial break anymore because we won't have enough time.
Yeah.
B, if you just maybe can't stick around or don't have time to be on live, you could try one on Talkback. We just won't give you a specific team.
Yeah.
And we'll just, if we're having some blank, if we have some blank spaces on our pieces of paper.
It's funny how great minds think alike, because I was thinking, but then it would take a lot of work to weed through them. But I was thinking that for next year, maybe we should make it an all Talkback thing. Because then people got just their 30 seconds, they get in and out, and then they don't have to go, well, I got to call back a second time. I think some people's like Bill Bates guy said, I'll go ahead and do the 12th pick Cowboys, I think. We said, well, they got 2 picks. Can you do the 20th? He goes, I'm working. I'm helping people invest their money. So I don't have the time to do it. So some people just going to say, well, now I don't have to call in now, but then I got to call into the 2:00 hour. And if I'm the 22nd pick, I got to hang around forever before I get on the air. John Hollinger writes NBA for The Athletic. He wrote a piece today. A headline writes, scoring is way down in the NBA playoffs. Here are 3 possible reasons why. And he says, what does he say? He lists playoff pace is slower. Everyone's first instinct is to blame the refs. Offensive rebound rates compared to regular season. League leaning offensive rebounding like never before. Top rebounding teams. Additionally, the dip in offensive rebounding also explains 2 other factors. Points per possession are down so much. Why pace hasn't declined as much. Offensive boards, offensive rebounds, blah, 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 blah. There's all sorts of, I started to get overwhelmed by it because I'm thinking to myself, I didn't see it. And maybe I missed it somewhere in here. But I think I stated this a couple 13, 14 times. This is the esoteric approach. This is not even having, I don't even watch the NBA, and I can tell you why. It's because it's the Cup, because it's the Naismith Trophy, Teams are now locking in on defense more. Wouldn't that be the most logical explanation? It seems to me it would be. But again, I'm not watching every single game like maybe John is, but he's using all these stats, offensive rebounding rate and this rate and that rate and points per possession and just these analytics and these sabermetrics, and they might all have something to do with it, but I just think teams just decide to play defense a bit more. They know that every possession's important. It's not like a regular season game where you go, you know what, we're going to, every team that's in the playoffs except the play-in teams. But the top 6 in each conference knew they were getting in the playoffs. 12-year teams already know they're getting in. So those are the teams that can afford to say, and the Wolves are one of them, and I think they took it to an extreme. We're just not playing tonight. We don't have I have no interest. And maybe it's not every player, so I don't think they get in the huddle before the locker room and goes, do we try tonight, guys, or not? I just think some guys decide I ain't trying, and they do load management, this and that and the other thing. Then you have another group of teams that, we're kind of there in the mix a little bit. Let's kind of see how the season goes. And if it goes well, hey, maybe we'll start playing down the stretch. And then that's what they do. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, we got a chance here. And then they even go, well, it's play-in series. To me, being a play-in team is sort of like playing in the NIT. But then again, if you can't win the entire NCAA championship, March Madness, then why not spend big fat stacks of booster provided cash in New York City, right? So I think some teams then, say, hey, let's see if we can at least sneak in the back door and get a play-in game. And then those teams that are battling that for, the teams that are in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th place. Those are all there. There's that next group of teams, fringe teams, maybe a break here, break that, one more key player, and they could be one of the top 6. But they weren't, and they aren't. So then they, but as long as they're in it, and while we're here, may as well play some defense like what Orlando did against Detroit. They said, we're going to play. Orlando won that game because they, and I don't know what happened in game 2. Did Detroit win? Have they had a game 2? I'm assuming they have. But Orlando won the first game because they decided to play defense. So I don't think there's any big mystery as to why NBA scoring is down. Maybe it has a little bit to do with offensive rebounding efficiency or whatever the case may be. But I just think teams start to say it's lockdown time. It's time to, obviously the name of the game tend to be is score more points than your. If the Wolves score more points than the Nuggets tonight, they will win the game. If they, I
don't know if I can break down the analysis better than that.
You can't.
No.
And so there's one way to do that. Either really just get into a track meet and run up and down the floor, or say, we'll score on our possessions, but we ain't letting them score on theirs. And so you play more defense, and then there are more missed baskets because there's more hands in a face, and there's more discs, and there's more steals, and there's more just you force turnovers because you're in passing lanes, because you are engaged in playing the game of basketball the way it's supposed to be played, whether it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals or the first game of the regular season and everything in between. So I think that would be my guess is what the biggest reason would be. We have a phone call here from Tony calling from, are you calling from Maine or from Blaine?
I said Blaine. He said Maine.
Oh, I thought maybe you were calling from Maine, and I was saying thanks for listening to us out there. You're in Blaine, and it says you want to talk a little wild hockey. What you got for us?
I love hockey, man. I love the goaltending.
Yeah.
I love the exciting, up-tempo, fast-paced, puck shooting, scoring. We need more scoring.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree, common man?
Well, in hockey, I don't mind a little more scoring. In most sports, like football, I don't want 51-47. I'd rather have 21-17 because I love defense. But I like goaltending, and that would like you do, and that would lead it to be if you have great goaltending on both ends of the rink, then you're going to tend to have lower scoring games. But I don't mind a few extra goals, especially if they're not puck luck goals. If it's all of a sudden a quick 1, 2, 3 passes, and then all of a sudden the guy top shelves it with a beautiful goal.
Flat shot.
Yeah, if you can give me 4 of those, I'll take a 4-3 game every day of the week. Absolutely.
It coming?
Yeah.
I got a confession.
Okay, I'm not a
It's
priest.
Howard and James.
Oh, I thought it was you. You sound different.
No, hold on.
You sound different.
I had to change my voice.
Yeah.
I was yelling and screaming at the Wild game because I listened to it on KFAN. Then I flipped it over to the Wolves. Everything's exciting in Minnesota with the playoff basketball, playoff hockey. We're enjoying it, baby. Enjoy the ride.
It seems like the Ibo gain is working.
I love that. Oh, man, it's beautiful. I got through.
All right.
I got through.
You got through it. I'm so happy to hear from you. It's good to hear from you again. Will you call again?
I love you, man. I love your show. I love when you bring out Rosie.
Yeah.
Mark Rosie. And don't forget Rosie down at Maxwell's Bar.
Yeah. Maxwell's Silver Hammer Bar and Bar. You're the best.
Maxwell, so I don't drink anymore.
No.
I got a Fonso on it. I don't drink anymore.
Well, do you drink?
So I just go down there for the food. The Maxwell burger is good. All their food is good.
Let me ask a question. You said you don't drink anymore, but do you drink any less?
No, I don't drink at all.
Oh. Well, then that's just like me.
Been clean for a couple of years.
Good for you.
Maybe had one slip. It should have been my fault. Was my fault. Can't blame her. Always blaming the woman.
Yeah.
It's not the woman's fault.
Yeah, we
but
both.
I had a slip. Minor slip.
We both.
But I'm telling you this. You keep the good show working. You keep up the good faith, brother.
Thanks, my boy. Appreciate that. Hollering James. Good to hear from him again. He snuck past you, Genevieve. It was almost like he had a disguise on. He put on one of those fake mustaches and glasses, and he snuck past you. Hollering James. It was so good to hear from him again.
I had an idea it was him, but I don't mind putting him through.
Oh.
There's other shows that might screen that call, but
That was our thing. We never. I remember that back in the days, back in the early days of the station, we had what they were called call screeners. You basically have to almost fill out an application to get on the air. It's like, that's what I always tell I'm using air quotes, call screener. Put them through. I'll decide if we want them or not. That's not your decision to make. And that's not ripping them. I'm just saying I'm an artist. My words are my brush. No. Paul's my paint. The words are my brush. No, the words are my paint. The airwaves are my canvas, and the microphone is my brush, something like that. But I'll decide, because then I bring on a caller, and if he's a little too far out there or too wacky, or he's got, as we like to say, nothing, well, then I'll just say, hey, thanks for calling, boom, move on. But if you screen out Holler and James, you may have just screened out one of the best callers in all of radio talk show history. Yes. Why would we want to do that? That doesn't make any sense. I always love that. I don't mind a serious sports talk call. Those are okay too, but that's the death knell of sports talk show. I think that I don't know what they do in other cities with sports talk radio if they lean heavily on call-ins. This show used to when we first started back in the early to mid 90s. I was like a call-in show. They would line up one after another. I've told this story. Chad and Burrow would be annoyed because callers would start lining up between 5:30, full phone lines 5:30 to 6. No, I don't want to get on with Chad and Burrow. I want to get on with Common. I'm waiting for Common. And we used to just take them one after another, after another, after another. That's where the guys thing came from. And then after a while, we just kind of, I don't know, we just, some of it wasn't even really discouraging calls. A lot of it was, people's lives change, right? All of a sudden it's like, well, I got a different job. I can't call in anymore. Or I'm not drinking anymore. I don't have anything to say. Or I'm bored at the show. I don't want to call in. I've got nothing to say anymore. I got nothing to say to you. And I'm moving on. Or you get kids, right? Instead of listening to the show, you're out doing stuff with your children. So, but yeah, we used to always do the old, go ahead and let me decide whether the person's a good caller or not. Is Philadelphia still open?
Actually, it's one of the four that is still available.
Well, there's a text messenger. You'll see him on there from the 651. He's asking, is Philly still open? You want to reach out to him and tell him he's got Philly if he wants it. So we're getting close. We only need 3 more, you say?
Well, I've seen a bunch of people put talkbacks in, too. So.
Oh, okay. Well, you got your work cut out for you in the next break. Or do you want me to listen to some of them, too?
Well, I won't actually listen to them at all. You can read the they're transcribed.
It's a good thing we can read the transcription, because if we couldn't, we could be in some trouble. So let's do that.
So who's... I didn't see the one you're talking about on text.
It would be the one that came in at 147.47. It's a 651. And now there's another one from the...
Well, it's officiating guy.
It is officiating.
But he already has one.
Well, maybe he wants another.
Well, he can have another because we have Marky Mark from Brooklyn Park also took 2 different ones as well.
Marky Mark.
All right, so officiating guy, you have Philadelphia at 23 and San Francisco at 27.
Let Tenna know I just left the draft pick on TalkBack. I don't care for which team. Thanks, Matt Little Falls.
So we're just we're missing Buffalo at 26, Kansas City at 29, and Seattle at 32.
Maury Amsterdam guy says, I'll take a slot if you need one filled.
Let's give Maury Amsterdam guy Buffalo at 26.
I don't know how good he is selecting for Buffalo, but he's really good at shuffalo. Really good at shuffalo. I get stumped by... Have you played... Did we talk about shuffalo? Shuffalo...
We've had this conversation like 5 times.
Shuffalo is... what are you saying? To repeat myself a lot? Is that the accusation you're making? I think you must have me confused with another talk show host. Have we talked about shuffalo before? Shuffalo is... It gives you 4 letters. You have to make a word out of it. Scrambled. It's always easy to get the first one. Then the second one's not too hard. And then it just keeps adding a letter to the letters you already have, and it gets to the point where it's like, I can't do this. I get lettered out. I get Art Link lettered out is what I do. I get David Letterman out. There's too many letters going on in my mind. But I don't want to do anything with numerals. So I'd probably be pretty good at a numbers puzzle. I was born in Detroit. You know how we learned to count in Detroit? 0 and 1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. You know, we were trying to count down to the draft. Now we're trying to just count down to the next break. I'm just struggling here. Oh, NFL, it's up again. NFL draft in 5 hours, 9 minutes, and 2 seconds. 1 second, 5:08 and 58, 57, 56, 55. We're getting that close. Think of how my life could change forever if I got to be at the Twin Cities TCF Bank Stadium. No, not TCF Bank. What is it? United Bank. U.S. Bank. I can get that right. U.S. Bank. And I could announce the 4th draft pick for the minute. That's a life-changing experience. The man who uttered that phrase, Paul Charchian, who literally said if you were able to announce the 4th round draft pick for the Minnesota Vikings, it would be a life-changing experience. He will join us tomorrow. Well, he's going to be on draft coverage tonight, but he will also join us for Program Password tomorrow.
We got to go to break in like 3 minutes, but you got to get to line 2 because we haven't talked to him in so long. And once you get into the mock draft, we're not going to be able to talk to him. It's been way too long.
Oh my gosh! Hold on. Wait, I gotta. My mouse is heavy. I'm just shocked. Hold on. Give me a second. Here. All right, there we go. Here we go. African guy.
Hey, come on.
African guy, where have you been? Don't tell me you went back to Africa. Now you're back again.
No, I'm still here. I've been so busy, with work. I changed work too, so that's why.
What are you?
Didn't heard from me.
What are you doing now? Can you say?
I working for deliveries. Still doing delivery, but a different company.
Okay, but you're doing deliveries. We got to move these microwave ovens, custom kitchen deliveries. So
I do auto parts.
Oh, auto parts like carburetors and transmissions and gonkulators and those kinds of things.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. Well, what brings you here today? It's so good to hear from you again. We hear all the time from people like, where's African guy? And where's Walter, the Secretary of Insight? And where's drummer guy? And where are all these people? And a lot of them are still around, but they just don't call in. But it's great to hear from you. What's going on? What brings you to the show today?
You know what happened? I will tell you this. I used to do Uber long time, a while ago. I pick up your friend. What's his name again? Hold on 1 second. This guy, the Vikings player, the ex-player.
Mike Morris. Mike Morris.
No, Ben Lieber.
Oh, Ben Lieber. What do you mean you picked him up? Are you doing an Uber kind of a thing, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I was doing an Uber, and he and his wife went to the restaurant in downtown. So I picked them up. I dropped them up at the house.
Yeah.
When he asked him, he'll remember me. I took a picture with him too. Okay. In front of his porch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I told him, when we go to the show, he can tell him about it. But I think he forgot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will. I talk to him about 3 times a year. We have him on the air, and I'll bring up that you ran into him. That African guy who drove you around in the Uber for a while.
Tell him I say hi, and his wife, and his family.
Very good. African guy, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Good to talk to you.
All right, you too, man.
Don't be a stranger.
You guys take it easy.
Yeah, call again. Yeah, African guy. We've heard from 2 people. We haven't heard from forever.
Yes.
It's just so nice. It just warms the cockles of my heart.
We have the draft filled for mocking the mock draft.
Yes.
So I need these 6 to call in right now so you can get them on hold. Drew and Blaine has Las Vegas at 1. Then I Play Track Guy, Fire Denny Guy's brother guy, Joe in Northeast Minneapolis, Jeremy in Plymouth, and still don't have a moniker guy.
It's mocking the mock draft version 2026. That's next on the KFAN.